Greetings exiles. I'm continuing my journey. I stopped at this point in the last video, and I need to run through a few maps. Just a little bit. Let's do this. I'll start with the Elder Guardians because I need this support gem, and it only drops from the Uber Elder. The Elder is a chill guy, and he can give me a good watcher's eye, so I like this fight. Also, as you may have already noticed, I added Mageblood, which I got in the first part of this video. Silver and Quicksilver flasks for movement speed, an Amethyst flask to fix chaos resistance, and a Ruby flask. Combined with this jewel, I have 86% maximum resistance. I have a lot of grinding ahead of me, and Mageblood will save me a ton of time because the main thing it gives me is movement speed. But let's get back to Elder. Miss. And again, nothing interesting. Not for my build. Elder is done. And now it's time for Mr. Despair. Shaper. I hate this fight. No good loot for me and a very long fight with yapping. I hope I find what I need now and won't have to fight Shaper anymore. One more try. Perfect. Just what I need. Goodbye Shaper, I won't miss you. Alright, let's test the Void Shockwave support. Oh yeah. Just what I need. With these small shockwaves, our clearing has gotten much better, and the build feels more comfortable. This is really what I was missing with Static Strike. Also, according to POB, this support gem has significantly increased our DPS. So this is a must-have for this build. The only thing I would like to add is phasing. But for that, I need new gear with chaos resistance so I can swap the Amethyst flask for a Quartz flask. But that would be a waste of resources because once I get the Apostate, I'll have to re-gear again. I could sacrifice a jewel slot for an Abyss jewel with phasing, but I think I'll just leave everything as it is. Overall, I'm happy with how things are. Now I've decided to stock up on scarabs because I plan to do Harvest, Breach, and some other mechanics, and for that I need a lot of scarabs. In this league, Mirage and Strongboxes are the best way to get a lot of scarabs in a short amount of time. I forgot I needed to unlock the 5th slot. Let's do this quickly. Nice. These fragments will come in handy. Now I can start farming scarabs. Unfortunately, I can't keep doing this strategy forever, and sometimes I had to switch to the Haunted Mansion without the ambush scarab of containment. I think that's enough for a start. That was fun. I love strongboxes. Fun, easy, and rewarding mechanics. Next, I'll fill up my Harvest Juice stock because it's a resource you always need. I'll activate the streamer client and I have some life force. Fast and easy. This unique ring is the next item on my list. Nice tink. That was quick. And for last but not least, Nightmare Maps. I need fragments for the Uber Cortex. In this league, Farming Uber fragments is much easier than in the last one, because most bosses drop only 2 specific fragments, and now we only need 4 fragments instead of 5. In addition to that, we have a Mirage that sometimes spawns in the boss room, and we get extra fragments. Let's try one Uber Cortex. Will I be able to kill it? Actually, it's a very tricky boss, all because this fight has random modifiers, and the battle can be either very easy or, with certain modifier combinations, the hardest Uber boss in the game. These are pretty easy modifiers for my build. I just need to get lucky and block all the damage. Simple as that. Not the fastest kill, but in any case, this build can already farm this Uber boss. Well then, let's start the real grind. I also decided to try the Uber Elder. Why not? Overall, nothing too complicated, but I felt a lack of DPS because the fight ended up being pretty long. But that's exactly why I need the unique armor from Uber Cortex to significantly increase my damage. I completed 13 Uber Cortex runs but still didn't get the desired piece of armor. Just a reminder that its drop rate is around 10–15%. Apparently, I need more nightmare maps. So let's farm. This will come in handy. Surely something good. I also didn't forget about shipment, because I need these tattoos. More nightmare maps. And more Uber Cortex. This time for sure. Rational doctrine before the apostate is certainly very interesting. I'm so unlucky because I'm just too lucky, because I found a very rare item before finding a common drop. Anyway. I've already made 20 Uber Cortex, and I still don't have the unique armor. That means I need more nightmare maps. But now I have a new plan. Breach and beyond for the level 100 push. With this atlas, I'll gain a lot of XP and be able to reach level 100. Plus, it's a pretty good strategy that gives you a lot of maps, including nightmare ones. I'll be able to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Farm nightmare maps and farm comments on YouTube about bait builds because the XP progress bar is always at 0. Sounds good. And some good tinks. Level 100. Cool. And a few more nightmare maps. This is getting interesting. Wow. This is definitely going to be some shiny armor, surely. No way. 31 Uber Cortexes have been made. Pretty impressive, not gonna lie. But I need this armor, so I can't give up. I'm turning on my streaming client again. A few seconds later, I have a bunch of nightmare maps. A few more seconds, and they've turned into Uber Cortex fragments. Fast and easy, surely. And here we are again. Finally, only 33 Uber Cortex. Easy, I didn't even break a sweat. Now I need new gear. In between the endless Uber Cortex runs, I've been crafting. The breach tree gave me these gloves. Very good suffixes. But let's try to improve them. Benchcraft. And harvest life reforge. No way. Almost a perfect result. Swap lightning resistance for fire, and I ended up with some really good gloves. Because they have life, energy shield, intelligence, chaos, and fire resistance. I'd like a little more energy shield, but I won't be greedy. Now it's time for boots. Base with a lucky fracturing orb. Benchcraft. And an unlucky slam. But I think these boots will work for me. I also tweaked my skill tree a bit and added fire tattoos. They give me fire penetration thanks to my unique ring, and the red dream gives me life for fire resistance. A perfect combination. It's a very tempting grind. But I think I'll pass. Just one run for a DPS check. This time it's much faster, and now I killed the Uber Elder twice as fast. Pretty good result. Fast catalyst farming. Harvest swap. And more resistances. Very nice. Crazy ring, by the way. From the breach tree, of course. I also got some jewels from the breach tree. Harvest spam. Time for a magic find. I've stockpiled rare scarabs, so now let's try to find something valuable. First and foremost, I'm interested in Unnatural Instinct. This unique jewel will improve my build. Horned scarabs of bloodlines are very strong. With it, monsters drop a lot of loot, and you can see it right away. I found additional copies of Maralene's Fallacy. Let's try to upgrade them. Plus 4% isn't quite what I was hoping for. Next time for sure. No way. Headhunter. Just like that. And even though I don't need this unique belt, it's still a good find. Unfortunately, I ran out of horned scarabs of bloodlines, and I still haven't found the desired jewel. So I'm switching to fortress farming. This strategy doesn't require rare scarabs, and the breach tree is a real way to get unique jewels. So let's see how it turned out for me. Not a bad start. A few jewels from the breach tree and some random drops. I also tried Veritania because this divination card drops from that boss. Of course, it's very, very rare, and getting a full set isn't realistic. But I wanted to find at least one and then send it to the Harvest Gamble Grindstone to try my luck there. But I killed 50 bosses and still didn't find that card. I also tried the Tainted Mystical Orb, but that's even more copium than the Veritania. But the Breach Tree works. It really works. Well, here are my drops. As you can see, there are quite a few jewels here, some I even have 2 copies of. But unfortunately, I still couldn't find Unnatural Instinct. Many of my viewers are wondering, how much Graph Blood did I spend on all these jewels? And the answer is, yes. A lot of Graph Blood. In general, unique jewels are a pretty rare drop in the game, and if you need a specific one, there's a high chance you'll never see it on SSF. But the Breach Tree is the most realistic way to get what you need. And when I say realistic, I mean that instead of 0%, your chance will be 0.01%. But on the other hand, that's still more than 0. When I play on SSF, I have a rule: if I need a certain item for my build, but it's not essential and my build can still work without it, I give myself a set amount of time. For example, 6 hours. And once that time has passed, if I haven't found the item I need, I just move on. There's no point in getting hung up on one thing, especially in SSF where you might never find what you need. And actually, the time for Unnatural Instinct has passed, so let's move on. Let's take down those Uber bosses I haven't defeated yet. Uber Maven. A pretty easy fight. The only tricky part is the final phase because we're 2 melee build. Personally, I don't like this boss. Annoying damage over time on the ground and 0 good loot. Uber Shaper. Beat this boss once to complete the challenge and forget about him. By the way, this is the first time I've fought the Uber version of this boss. Hopefully the last time. First time Uber incarnation of Dread. What's going on here? Surely I'll dodge. Surely. Not a bad amulet at all. Cool. And my favorite bosses. No ring. Scam. Nice and easy. Very easy. I think my journey has come to an end. Solid grind. And it was pretty fun. I was hoping my build would have more cool and rare items, but unfortunately, the long grind for the Apostate and the long, unsuccessful grind for Unnatural Instinct took up too much of my time, and I didn't want to delay this video any further. So, here's what we've got. But even in this version, the build feels very solid, and overall I'm happy with the progress. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. I'd also really appreciate your likes and subscriptions. Bye everyone, and see you in the next videos.